All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you why I believe Stellar is going to be the leader when it comes to real-world asset tokenization. A market that could reach up to 16 trillion by 2030. I do not want you to take my word for it. I know many of you guys have listened to what I have been saying on the channel because I give you guys the best updates, the best information. No moon boy. If something's bad, I'm going to tell you it's bad on this channel. That's why you subscribe. That's why you're already subscribed. If you're new here, you already subscribed entering this channel. And in this video, I'm going to show you crazy information. Why I believe Stellar and possibly XRP, possibly Ripple can come here as well and take over this market that we are walking into. The information we got from Blackrock today is absolutely phenomenal. I cannot wait. Make sure to subscribe. Let's hop right into today's video. So this YouTube channel, Bankless, did an interview with a guy from Blackrock who leads the tokenization, the crypto aspect over at Blackrock. It's absolutely huge. Now, many people watched this and it went over their head. They didn't even realize what this guy was actually saying. In this video, I'm going to show you everything he's talking about, why it leads to Stellar, why it leads to some of our favorite cryptos, and break it down for you. It's absolutely huge. But I can't, let's just get into the video so I can break this down for you.
About the aspirations of the Blackrock digital asset team when it comes to tokenization.
Yeah, we're very excited about tokenization. A lot of the firm, as you noted, Larry as well, is excited about tokenization. This is something that has the potential to be massively transformative for financial infrastructure, right? Particularly when paired with some of the DeFi applications that you can build around tokenized assets. I think we have to remember that we are super early on this journey towards tokenization, right? And I think there's three big things that need to happen for us to have kind of that inflection point moment where this really starts to accelerate in terms of its adoption. And that's one, a breadth of institutional grade custodians who can support, both crypto and tokenized assets. Two would be big, credible trading marketplaces for tokenized assets, such that the liquidity value proposition that today is mostly theoretical around tokenization actually can manifest. And the third is regulatory clarity. And a big part of that is simply the recognition that if I tokenize a bond, that's a bond. If I tokenize a stock or an ETF, that's a stock or an ETF, et cetera. So we're building on this journey. It's still super early, but if it happens, if that vision is realized, we would have a vastly more efficient, accessible, low cost, flexible financial system potentially than what exists with traditional rails. And I think that's what gets everybody excited.
So that's absolutely huge. And really what we learn from that is the three big problems: institutional grade custodians, which I'm going to break that down for you once I go further in the video, why we are already approaching that position. Big credible trading marketplaces. So this is another aspect of this, which I'll talk about later, but really you have to think about it is you want to be able to trade all of these different assets, and how can you do it efficiently in a way that you can have trust. So I'm going to also break down why I think Stellar could be a leader in this area or already is a leader in this area. And finally, regulatory clarity, which we know Stellar is on the board with CFTC. They're huge there. So we are working, we have our big power players that we believe in already pushing towards regulatory clarity. And what Blackrock is saying here is if they can reach this, right, this tokenized asset market, and I believe in this video he says tens of trillions, but they're saying another big consulting group is saying 16 trillion by 2030, right? So this is why we have Blackrock moving here so fast and trying to really position themselves to take over in this sector. So this next question is, what is the benefit of tokenization? Is this not a competitor to what Blackrock has already been doing? Why do they want to go after tokenization? What is the future for it? Once he starts answering the questions here, I'm going to start absolutely just breaking this apart for you guys and showing you how Stellar backs up all these concerns and why I believe Stellar's already ahead.
Yeah, well, first, actually, I'd say that viewpoint within traditional finance is actually not that prevalent. That, if you think back to kind of the first mainstream explosion of crypto and blockchain onto the consciousness of a lot of people, that was 2017, right? And in 2017, you heard a lot of blockchain, not Bitcoin, right? Now,
So what he's saying there is he's saying that when you talk about BlackRock and all these people who are looking at crypto, they're looking at how they can take advantage of blockchain and maybe get rid of the crypto. So this actually comes to private blockchains, right? That idea of, well, we can just privatize crypto and we don't need all the coins themselves, right? We can get rid of crypto, the other aspects of crypto. So that's what he's talking about right here, and saying how that has not, that's not actually where things are going.
there's some sort of challenges with that for a number of reasons, but putting those aside, that trade, so to speak, has been wrong, right, in this intervening period. Bitcoin and crypto, despite the boom bust cycles, has continued to ascend, and a lot of the kind of early blockchain applications and these networks and consortiums that were built, oftentimes private blockchain applications, have not flourished.
So did you hear that? Private blockchains have not flourished. I mean, we have to zone in on that and understand that, because some people out here still believe that it's not going to be public, no public access at all. That is not the facts, okay? Maybe there's some truth to that in certain areas, right? But when it comes to tokenization, what Stellar has been working towards for years, this is better off to be public, okay? So understand that. I mean, BlackRock tells you themselves. I don't need to explain it more than that. We understand it.
Sentiment, though, still exists today, and it often takes the form of tokenization, not crypto. And I think that is flawed as well. And in fact, a critical unlock to tokenization is going to be likely the adoption of crypto. Because when you think about it, what's riskier for large TradFi institutions? To have allocations in, 1, 2, 3% to this new asset class, which is, risky and somewhat unproven, high upside, high potential downside? Or is it riskier to migrate potentially tens of trillions of existing financial assets onto this new technology paradigm? Well, when you think about it that way, the latter is obviously way riskier. So one of the ways that as an industry we're likely to de-risk that is to build solutions and comfort and adoption around crypto that gets firms used to using blockchain rails. And ultimately, that's going to support the adoption of tokenization. Now, why do we think tokenization is valuable?
So before we understand why tokenization is valuable, you have to understand, right, that for them to put tens of trillions of dollars into tokenization, they're not going to get these people over there. They're not going to get their clients over there unless they're already even remotely familiar with crypto. That's why we're seeing the ETFs. That's why we're seeing the start of this. And if we look at the start of this, I can break down the start of this for you guys. Top entities, right, of real world asset tokenization. You can see here. And if we go to issuers, you see BlackRock down here, 520 million. What you'll notice, because a lot of people go here and they'll show you this chart. They'll say, hey, my cryptocurrency, whatever it is, whether it's NIR or some of these other ones, is leading in tokenization. But they fail to show you, if we take NIR, for example, $641 million right there that you can see. Well, if we go to stablecoins, right, we see that NIR, $639 million. That almost all that amount is just in stablecoins. Almost all of these amounts here are in stablecoins. So what we have to break down and understand is, okay, well, who's actually ranking here with real assets, right? Not just stablecoins. Stablecoins are cool, But when we talk about tens of trillions of dollars being tokenized, the big part of that isn't exactly stable coins. We've already gotten there. We're talking about things like treasuries, for example. Well, we have BlackRock number 1, followed by Franklin Templeton number 2. Franklin Templeton, almost all of it's on Stellar, $426 million right there. That's huge. So what you're seeing here is BlackRock's taking the real safe route, and they're going with Ethereum, which is well known. They're trying to get their clients into crypto, and they can understand Ethereum. The other altcoins seem more risky. We know why. Look how crazy they've been, right? But some of BlackRock's biggest competitors, like Franklin Templeton, are starting to realize, well, Stellar's probably the future. And I believe, especially with some of the things that we're going to listen to in this video, BlackRock will eventually move from Ethereum to Stellar. And if you listen to what he's saying here and understand what he's saying, the approach that BlackRock is taking is a super safe, start at Bitcoin, then Ethereum, go down to the next thing, and be extremely safe. There's so many altcoins that would love to start tokenizing, right? So for them to figure out the best one, it's not an easy task, especially when crypto's a new thing here. But we can already see that a lot of the money is already moving to Stellar. And when you put it this way, well, Stellar starts to become a leading network, way above Solana, way above Ethereum layer 2s. So we have to understand that.
Properties that you can build into a system that is tokenized versus our legacy system are immense, right? When you think about liquidity, real-time, instantaneous, riskless settlement, 24/7 trading, the fact that these assets become digitally native, transparent, interoperable, that we can remove a lot of the layers of intermediaries that have had to exist in the current system, right? All these things create massive opportunities for efficiency, for financial inclusion, for access to a wider array of investments in a more efficient way. So that's what gets us excited.
That's the reasons they want to get into crypto, into tokenization. So understand that. Liquidity, real-time instantaneous riskless settlement, 24/7 trading, transparency, interoperable, remove layers of intermediaries in their current system, efficiency, financial inclusion, and access to a wider array of investments in a more efficient way. This is huge. This is where things are moving to. And you heard it here. It's not going to be on private blockchains. The private aspect of this, it's not flourishing. It's not moving that way. It's going to go into a public side of things. Now, some people may say, well, it's all Ethereum. It's going to be all Ethereum. We know why it's not going to be all Ethereum, right? You've watched this channel. You've subscribed. You understand this. But when you look at Stellar, it is number 2. Literally number 2. So out of all the coins that you're going to pick, which ones are you going to choose? Ethereum, which is very old tech, or Stellar, which I'm going to show you guys, is literally built from the protocol level to be regulatory compliant. That's what it is. You can see right here, which we're going to get into even more as we watch this video. So let's skip to the next point here.
Well, digital identity was actually the first answer I was going to give, because I do think that.
So the question here is, what still needs to be built out in the crypto space for BlackRock to operate more heavily in crypto? What do we still need to be building out? So digital identity.
What
is digital identity? That's what we're going to find out here.
The first answer I was going to give, because I do think that is absolutely critical. We have to figure out a way to be able to apply some of the KYC and AML practices that exist in traditional finance to tokenization for that to work, right?
So KYC and AML practices. Stellar has built that on the protocol level. That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been telling you guys in these videos. That it's extremely important. So right now, we have to understand what we're seeing there. BlackRock has only tokenized so far on Ethereum. They haven't tokenized on Stellar. So what's their first issue here? Digital identity. Apply KYC and AML practices. That's their first issue. So this is only an issue I'm skipping ahead to other spoilers. I shouldn't be skipping ahead. Sorry, my tabs are all over the place. This is one issue that you would not have with Stellar. AML. So actually, I'm going to read this for you guys so you guys can understand. This setting allows a user or allows an issuer to pre-qualify account holders by requiring the collection of information necessary to run appropriate compliance checks, such as KYC, Know Your Customer, and AML, anti-money laundering, and CFT, countering the financing of terrorism, before allowing the account holder to receive the asset. This is why they are the second biggest leader to Ethereum, right? In this massive market. Okay, and in this video, you're gonna see how massive this market is. I'm breaking this down for you guys. You guys need to like and subscribe because I'm breaking this down for you guys in this video. So that's the first issue, which is solved on Stellar. Ethereum was not made in this way. Ethereum was made in a way that was just for DeFi, whatever, smart contracts platform, build what you want to build. There was no vision. When Jed McCaleb came out and created Stellar, there was a vision to go in this direction that we've gotten ourselves to. Remember, Stellar has smart contracts as well, full-fledged smart contract system. So Stellar is able to compete with the best of the best. I do so many videos explaining Stellar. I can't tell you guys everything in this video. You guys got to watch the other videos as well. There's stuff you need to catch up on. So that was the first issue. What is the second issue?
But we also need to be able to preserve privacy in the same way that privacy is critical for financial transactions today, right? So that hasn't been figured out, and thankfully there's lots of smart people working on the digital identity piece, and we hope to be able to contribute to that and come up with something that becomes a powerful industry utility. I think we're also at a position where these two worlds, for the most part, live in separate silos. When you think about exchanges, there are crypto exchanges and there are traditional securities exchanges. There's just not a lot of overlap. There, for the most part today, are crypto custodians, then there are traditional custodians. Again, not a lot of overlap. Ultimately, the point where this becomes very accessible and adopted, you're likely to see these things fuse together, right? When you think about kind of two seminal things that we did this year in terms of IBIT and ETHA, the ETFs, as well as the first public blockchain tokenization.
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too much. You guys are gonna watch the video for yourself. But let's talk about the big issue there: privacy. There's no answer for this, guys. I'm sorry, we got nothing for privacy. I don't know. They're having the best minds work on it, so I can't say much about that. But the other thing was, oh no, you thought I was gonna leave you there. You thought Stellar didn't have a solution for privacy. You probably don't know about it. Many people probably don't know about it, but they actually do. So I was just trolling you guys there. Yes, Starlight, a layer 2 payment channel protocol for Stellar. This is a way to pay privately. Payment channels allow parties to transact privately, instantly, and securely while paying 0 fees. Okay. So yes, Stellar has thought about this issue as well, but obviously, BlackRock, you got to think of the difference here, right? When we look at BlackRock, which has how many, they have $520 million on Ethereum right now, right? Now that's huge, but also they have $10 trillion of assets that they manage, which is massive. Franklin Templeton, 1 trillion. I think, or maybe it's like 1.9 trillion. So Franklin Templeton is huge, but not as massive as BlackRock. So obviously BlackRock is going to go very slow. Okay, what are the most well-known cryptos that they can get their clients integrated with easiest? Stellar is probably a lot harder pitch than Ethereum because they've probably all heard of Ethereum and not heard of Stellar. But obviously we do see Franklin Templeton heading over to Stellar. So the next biggest asset managers are going to Stellar because you have these things. You have Starlight right here. Okay, you guys can go and visit it yourself and read about this and understand what is actually already built and in place here already. And we're talking about a lot of transactions that they can do. We've measured Starlight producing 38 payments per second, unbuffered, and 1.1 million payments per second. So there's some massive infrastructure here that we have to pay attention to. The other part with the marketplaces and creating a market, well, that now the Stellar smart contracts, build what you want to build on Stellar. That's another reason, but that's going to be up to them. How are they going to build that? And we've already seen some things start to develop on Stellar, like Stellar anchors. Stellar is already allowing, because people think that when they looked at Stellar, they're like, oh, well, XRP, that's for the banks. Ripple's for the banks, and Stellar's just for the people. And there was two different approaches, like a top-down and then, the opposite approach for Stellar. But when you actually come to understand, well, the banks are very slow movers to adopt crypto. We'll probably get BlackRock to adopt crypto well before we ever get the banks to adopt crypto. Listen to David Sort's quote. I broke it down on the video. So that really brings us to why Ripple's going this direction, trying to release smart contracts, go more towards crypto natives, and trying to compete again with Stellar, because Stellar already came out here and has all these connections. And these connections that you're looking at right now is literally anchors connect the Stellar network to traditional banking rails so that currencies around the world can interoperate on a single seamless platform. So you can see that crypto and Stellar can go and connect to the traditional banking rails. This is real interoperability. This is real infrastructure ready, right? Sadly, we don't have anything in North Korea, but hey, South Korea, look at all those options. That's pretty good, if I do say so myself. Okay, anyways, so we understand that. We understand how Stellar offers these solutions. Now, let's talk about, is DeFi a competitive threat to BlackRock? I thought this was a really interesting piece here.
Question. I think that there are elements of it that every traditional finance firm should be excited about in terms of the innovation and efficiency and new opportunities that this technology can unlock. And when it comes to true DeFi, there are also elements that are clearly disruptive to a lot of parts of traditional financial services. That should get everybody's attention. It's not a good strategy to duck and hope that it passes and never comes to fruition. And I think, to a lot of firms' credit that I see, there is a sincere, genuine effort to lean in and understand DeFi and think about, what TradFi can participate in and help build in that DeFi space. I think there will always be some demand for intermediaries, for trusted intermediaries. Most people do not want to run their entire financial life by themselves. Obviously there's a role for self-custody. Many people like self-custody of crypto, but it's certainly not for everybody. And we all know lots of people who've lost assets via self-custody, right? And so, that's just one example. But when you think about the role that trusted intermediaries will play, I think they will be streamlined. I think they'll be more efficient. There'll be competitive disruption, but there'll still be some role there.
So
that's huge, right? So there will be some role for, traditional asset managers and things like that. But DeFi could definitely have a space and take over. That can be huge, right? Which they mention here. And obviously everything he's saying there makes perfect sense with, not everyone wants to custody their own crypto. We've seen lots of bad things happen. That's for sure. So this leads us to another part of this, which is very huge, where we have CEO. I'm not going to play the whole thing. This video is going on for too long, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I will retweet it. So now it's on my Twitter. So if you go follow me on Twitter, link in the description, you can watch this video. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink has said, the next step is the tokenization of financial assets, and that means every stock, every bond. That is where we're going to, okay? And if we are smart enough and we don't get confused by, top stablecoin cryptos and think that our network, whatever network, one of these networks is going to be the leader here, don't understand what's going on, and we actually track and see that Stellar, the cryptos that I talk about, I really break it down for you. I look at the on-chain data. I don't just read an article. This is the problem I have with so many people in the space right now, speaking about some of these bigger ISO coins, right? Because they just read an article and say, for example, I'm very bullish on Ripple and XRP here, especially now that they're moving with this coin here, and they're going to start ranking on this site as well because they're going to be on chain. But for example, there's many YouTubers who come out here and they see a story from Ripple and they just say, "Oh, yeah, press release, that's official. XRP taking over the world." No. If we want to be smart about this, we need to actually track and see who's logically, realistically winning when it comes to on-chain data. Don't just read a news press release. Show people on-chain data. And don't just show them like this. Actually break down, well, where are those funds going to, right? That's extremely important. But I'm bullish on them. I think they have a place with this whole conversation here, 100%. Now, every stock, every bond, what does that look like? Well, if we go to asset class market cap comparison, Bitcoin's at 1 trillion, gold 17 trillion, art 18 trillion, stocks at $110 trillion. What would that do to crypto? What would that do to the compliant coins that have the infrastructure built so they can actually take advantage of that money flow? I don't know. That's crazy to hear, right? To understand what he's saying here. And it makes sense. Blackrock broke it down for you. I played the video of why they want to do it anyways. And they also explained that this is the position that they're trying to push towards, right? This makes sense. The only thing that we have to understand now, because we know they're not just going private route, we know we're going a public route, which they spoke about, is which rails are they going to use? If you listen to what he's saying here, you'll see him talk about rails, traditional financial infrastructure rails versus crypto rails, right? Well, rails is your layer one. It's which crypto is it going to be? Which one is actually things going to run on? Many people believe it's going to be Ethereum. Great lead here. But if it's not Ethereum, well, then which one would it be? I personally would think it's the one that has built compliance and it built their whole direction to be able to tokenize these assets, like Stellar. I mean, Ondo is another one that can be up there for sure. We can't sleep on Ondo, so I'll put another one out there for you guys to research on your own. Ondo. We have to be open-minded to which ones it can be. But I mean, even Ondo is not ranking here. So we have Stellar, right? Which ones are you going to bet on for this? Because we know it's going to be public. We know that this could be absolutely massive when it comes to how much money is being pushed out here. And this is going to happen well before banks ever use crypto. People are betting on some cryptos taking over the banking sector. I'm sorry, this is the first movement. Well before we ever see actual fiat get pushed on there. Because when you look, fiat is a lot bigger. I mean, not a lot bigger, but it's bigger than stocks, right? Because honestly, when you start talking about banking sector, you have to include global debt in there as well. You just have to. So first, we're probably going to get Riverwood asset tokenization, and this is going to be a huge driver in crypto. This is why RWA has been one of the leading factors in crypto in the first place, right? When we saw Q1 2024, which were the highest gainers, Real-World Asset Tokenization was one of the highest gaining coins there, especially some of the new protocols that came out. But I believe that Stellar is a massive sleeper because of the misconception that people think, oh, it's just trying to go after the banking sector. It's just, the little brother to XRP. Don't worry about it. Don't pay attention. XRP is the real deal. But what we've actually seen is they've gone in a totally different direction. They're not going after banks. They've been going after the real-world asset tokenization that they've built in since the protocol level. This is why I'm bullish. People are confused. Why do you talk about Stellar? Look at the chart. Why do you talk about it? Because price doesn't represent the actual utility and where things are moving to. If the people who come out here and they just want to pay attention to price, right? Let's do something like this here, right? If you want to just pay attention to price, well, you're not going to buy Stellar. You're probably the person who bought Stellar once it boosted up to here because you're like, oh, price is going up. This must mean it's good. No, it was always good. It was good down here as well before it pumped up. You just didn't buy it because you didn't understand anything about it. All you see is price up, good. Price down, bad. Price is an extremely important factor for deciding our cryptocurrencies, especially for this upcoming bull run. If you want to pick the best leader, that's why I do videos on other cryptos. So we can win in all aspects when it comes to crypto. all aspects. That's why you need to be subscribed immediately. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on key information, because people are going to read you news articles saying whatever crypto's on top, right? But they're not gonna actually break it down on a protocol level. They're not gonna break it down and go into the chain itself and go into the data itself to tell you guys, well, who's actually winning here. I don't know what else to say other than that. Buy low, sell high. That's my motto. That's my philosophy. Stellar's very low right now, and they're building and they're doing massive things. And I believe as we continue to get this crypto adoption happening, remember what Blackrock's trying to do is they're first trying to take people, and they're just trying to just use crypto first, and then they can get the tokenization done. They're not just going to bring the tokenization right away, because no one's going to be comfortable with that. They're not going to be able to get their clients to be able to do that. No, get people used to crypto, then they can bring the tokenization movement, and that'll be massive. So that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. A lot more videos to come. Non-biased videos. I break it down for you guys. If something's bad, I'm going to tell you it's bad. I'm not going to hide things from you guys just to get more views. No, this is the realest channel in crypto. See you next one. Peace out.